On today's episode, I'll be giving you an update on my Novice Cardigan progress, my Granny Square Blanket progress, and a fun acquisition. Hey everyone, I'm Marina and this is Pineapple Knits. This is my channel dedicated to knitting, spinning, and weaving, and now crochet. You can find me on social media at Pineapple Yarn, and you can connect with me on my website at pineappleyarn.com. Thanks so much for joining me again this week, and if this is your first time joining me, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. I'm coming to you from a very waterlogged coastal South Carolina. It has been raining for what I feel like is weeks and weeks. It has been raining nonstop. We've had one day this week that we had no rain. It was a beautiful day, and every other day has just been so rainy and cold, but not as cold as the rest of the US. So if you are in one of those super Arctic areas who got the big storm and the ice and the super cold, my thoughts are with you. I can't even imagine how cold it is. I hope you're safe and warm in your home, and I hope it passes soon. It's just, wow, this winter weather is so crazy. That being said, I had to burn my favorite candle here, Royal Palm. It is one of my springtime candles. It's so delicious and summery. It's just brings a little summer, a little warm weather here to the studio, even when it's dark and gray and cold out. And on my mannequin here is my 2019 Advent Calendar, Sun and Salt, and I knit the Banana Leaf Shawl by Yuki Ueda. It was such a great project for all of my minis, and I've talked about it over and over on this channel because I love it so much. Well, I did get a little more work done on my Novice Cardigan this week. I have almost an entire sleeve done, as you can see. This is the Novice Cardigan by PetiteKnit. It's a great pattern. I've really been loving it. I'm using a DK weight yarn held double with a lace weight mohair silk. And so the main color, I guess, is the Sun Club, the Pineapple Yarn Sun Club from September 2020, I believe. And it's on my Lani DK yarn. And then this is Coral Conch, and this is on my Noe mohair silk. It's a lace weight mohair silk blend. And so together they really have, they're such a pop of color. It's beautiful. This is a knit that just, it's so fast. And I just started on the sleeve. I really have not worked on this very much this week. And so I didn't get to steek it yet. And this really does fly. It's on very large needles, and so I'm using a US size 10 for the body, and I believe the pattern calls for a US 11, and I never remember millimeters. So this is a 6mm needle. I've sized down one size, but so far so good. This is almost to the very end. It has oversized, like wider sleeves, kind of like balloon sleeves. And so this will be sized down into a cuff. So it kind of has like the oversized sleeve. And I just thought that'd be super cozy and just super cute. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Like I said in my last episode, I am doing a steek, and so that's a departure from the pattern itself, how it's written, and so I plan on doing that fairly soon. I just think that I'd rather do that maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll do it this weekend, because I do want to try it on. It would be really nice to try it on as a cardigan. So I can get the sleeve length right and all that, because it does change the fit. So anyway, so far so good on that. After I get this sleeve done, I will just go on to the next one and be done. And of course the steek. So that's that. Nothing super exciting, nothing super different to tell you about, but I'm still really loving this. And of course, now that I'm on Sleeve Island, I don't have to think about anything except just knit the sleeve, knit, 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 around and around. And of course, with those size 10 needles, it just flies. And so yeah, this is really going well, and hopefully I'll have a lot more progress to show you next week. By far, the bulk of my work this week has been on my granny square blanket. And so let's see, the last week I showed you, and it probably looked very much like this. However, it is so giant right now. I have to actually unfold it to show you because it is that big. And so here it is. This is folded in half. And this is everything I have crocheted this week. How crazy is this? And so you can see right here, here's the top. And then you can definitely see that square right in the middle. That was all of my leftovers from my Slipstravaganza project, and then all the way to the bottom. So it is really, really large right now. It is so giant so far. And so obviously at this point, it's this big, and it's a square, so you can kind of see like how big that would be. At this point, it will definitely slow down tremendously. I mean, the wider this gets, the more time it takes for each round, and so naturally it's going to go slower and slower. But I put on from about here all the way to here. This is what I did this week, and so I did quite a bit of work. I used all of my Slipstravaganza leftovers. That was in the middle here. And then what I did is I just started adding leftover skeins from my stash. And I've tried to match up the same color families that were in my Slipstravaganza. So warm tones, I have some kind of gold colors, yellows, oranges, pinks. Those are all in here. I do have I think I have a natural undyed color. And so all these are yarns that I've used in projects and, you know, knitting for other people. It's quite a bit. And so let me show you the stash of yarn that I'm working from. Here is my very messy stash. So I just have a kind of a generic basket here, and I have all of these leftovers. These are leftovers from all different kinds of projects. This was a yarn right here. This is a yarn that it was just one skein, and it's a DK weight. I dyed it up years ago, and I have no idea what it was from. I didn't dye it with pineapple yarn. It was just kind of a one-off. Same thing with this. This was a leftover from a colorwork sweater I did for one of my daughters. And it's this beautiful pale peach. It's very, very pretty. This is another colorwork skein I had, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember what sweater this is from though. So what I'm working with, I'm either using like a DK weight. I think a couple of these might be a worsted weight. And then I'm actually holding two fingering strands together. And so for instance, I have this little, I think I'm using this right now to crochet on this row. This is my yarn, pineapple yarn in the colorway Flamingo. And it's kind of like a blend of pinks and yellows and oranges with some black speckles. It's really, really pretty. And I'm holding it together with this beautiful kind of a cherry red. So those are being held together, and it makes kind of a dominantly red or deep pink stripe in the blanket. Same with this. This is Another one of my colorways, Tropical Me. This is one of my favorites. I love this colorway. And I've held this together with like this yarn right here. This is Honeycomb. Another one of my colorways, it's a tonal, but you'll get probably a primarily gold tone in there. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm alternating between like pinks or deeps, and you know, if I have like I'm trying not to make too sharp of contrasts. And so if, for instance, if I use this undyed yarn right here, I wouldn't put this next to it most likely. I would probably go with like a softer color and then kind of bridge into like some deeper colors. I am using this. This is another favorite, but I wanted to show you this yarn because it makes me laugh. This is one of the first colors I ever dyed, and I dyed it using Kool-Aid, and probably just Kool-Aid because Kool-Aid has citric acid in it. So you had the heat, you got the dye, you got the acid, you're all set. But I thought this was pretty good, actually. It's like a really pretty terracotta with pinks in it. And I was just doing some experiments to see how colors blended, and I got this really beautiful color. I have some resists in there that are really pretty. But yeah, this was one of my very, very first, if not the first colorway I ever dyed. But of course, I didn't call it a colorway. It was just a skein of yarn. So I'm using that too because it matches the blanket. So it's really fun. There's a lot of memories in here. And yeah, what better way to use it than a blanket that everyone gets to use and enjoy. So far this is going along so well. I don't really know where I will end on this. It might be one of those projects that by the time I actually want to get done, it will be warm out, and so we won't really want to use it. And maybe I put it away for a little bit, and then once it gets cooler, I start working on it again. I don't know. But I really, really love working on this. I never thought I would enjoy working on a blanket, to be honest. I don't know why. I think because I like quick projects. Even with a sweater, I don't like fingering weight sweaters. I like a thicker weight sweater just because it doesn't last. It doesn't go on and on and on. But this has been so great. And so I'm using an eye hook, which also adds to the quickness of the crocheting, because this isn't a fingering weight blanket like so many other kind of scrappy projects are. This is definitely a thicker weight blanket, and it definitely is, it's a heavy blanket. It's definitely been keeping me warm while I've been working on it. So that's that with that project, and yeah, it's been really fun. I've been opening up my Hedgehog Fibers advent calendar every day, and this is all the minis that I have so far, and they're just so fun every day. I think I'm up to day 19. I think today's the 19th, so I just opened up day 19 today. And once they are all finished, I will show them to you, maybe take a wide angle photo and show you. But yeah, they're still coming along, and still trying to think about projects to do with them. So if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear what you think. But I have another acquisition. I just received what I believe is, I think it's the last installment of my Hedgehog Fibers Fiber Club. And so I wanted to share that with you. If you haven't received yours yet, go ahead and skip forward because I don't want to spoil the surprise. But this month was so beautiful. I loved it so much. I've received quite a few months that maybe aren't something that I would necessarily be drawn to right away. They have a lot of blues, they're darker. It just wasn't maybe my colors, if you will. But this month's was really, really pretty. So I wanted to share it with you. This was the fiber. This is think it's a merino and Tessa silk, maybe a viscose blend. And it's so pretty. It's so, so soft. The Hedgehog Fibers fiber, they don't sell it in the shop. It's just through their club. And it's all randomly dyed. So once you open it up, there's always these kind of little surprise colors in here. And it was so beautiful this month. It was just colorful and oh, it's going to be beautiful, all spun up. Aren't those pretty, those pops of color? Oh, love this. This just really felt like me, you know? You know when you see something and you're like, that's me right there. So I thought this was so pretty, especially for springtime with all of these colors. The fiber's beautiful. So this is gonna be so fun to spin up. I can't wait. And I haven't done any spinning. I don't have anything on my wheel, and I haven't had anything for the past probably 3 weeks or so. And so this is going on. This is definitely going on. And I think so I didn't resubscribe to their club for the next 3 months because I have lots of months I haven't spun yet. And I've been trying to spin them up, and I've found that with their club, or really any fiber that I'm not super drawn to like this, if I will do a combo ply, or if I, gather 4 months of a fiber club together and use them all together, it really ends up being a fun project and a really beautiful project. Like my forager sweater that I just finished knitting maybe a month or 2 ago. That was from about 4 months of Hedgehog Fibers clubs, and it turned out really great. I loved it. So anyway, that was the last month from Hedgehog Fibers, and I want to share it with you because it was so pretty. But I'll definitely keep you updated how that spin goes, and I'm sure it'll be so much fun. Well, I haven't had a ton going on this week. I've been working a lot, of course, and just trying to work through this dreary weather, and it's so dreary. So I did what I know what to do best and dyed up a bunch of these tonals for springtime because I just needed some bright colors. So those are going to go into the shop next Friday. I will be having a shop update, and I'll have these tonals as well as a ton of colorways. I'll probably have 8 different colorways in the shop as well. So I've just been trying to dye up lots of bright yarn and try and plan some really bright, fun, colorful projects to kind of brighten everything up. And so if you're in the same boat that I am, no pun intended with all this rain, but if you're in the same situation, I hope you are finding so many beautiful, fun, bright, colorful projects to push you through this dreary weather. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, I'm super jealous right now. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this episode, I'd love if you'd give it a thumbs up and subscribe so we can gather all of us color lovers out there and share our love of knitting and crafting with fiber and yarn. Thanks so much for joining. I hope to see you next week. And until then, I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.